All right. Good evening, everyone. Wanted to come on and give everybody an update on the severe weather we're having, unfortunately, tonight. It is one of those late fall evenings, and you can hear my weather radio going off in the background, so hopefully that'll stop in just a second. The reason that's going off is because we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Denton County. And it was just issued, and it actually goes back to Wise County. And let me get the radar going here and put that in motion. So here's what we got going on. So we do have a couple different storms we're watching. One is the supercell storm that we've kind of been watching northeast of Denton, headed toward McKinney, the US 380 corridor. So we definitely want to watch that and put that in motion there. And that's a storm that's caused me the most concern, at least initially, because it's hadn't produced any tornadoes, but definitely has produced a lot of hail and golf ball size hail, at least maybe a little bit larger from what I've seen. So let's put that stop there. Okay, so we have a couple things going on here that actually may help us out here in the short run and in the long run. So, okay, my weather radio went off. That's very annoying. All right, but we got to keep it on because going to keep up to date on the severe weather. So I want to point out a couple of things here is that this is the supercell storm that we've been watching for a couple of hours now, and this is the one that's produced a lot of hail. And so that's the one that, we kind of are the most concerned about. And in a general sense, it's headed this way, although with these supercells, they do tend to want to do this sometimes. So that's why we have to watch this storm pretty closely as far as, which direction that's going to go. Right now, if we clear this off, I would say if you're anywhere in this area, pretty much if you live in McKinney, and I would say even if you're scooting to the south, Fairview, maybe the northern fringes of Allen, Frisco, especially in the northern parts of Frisco, definitely watch that storm. Now, what is interesting about this is that if we kind of go out a little bit bigger in scale here, I always go the wrong way. Okay, I want to show you something. So let's put this in motion. So what may save most of us from a big hailstorm is actually this line that's back to the northwest of it. And this line is actually part of the cold front. And this line is most likely going to catch up to this supercell. And typically when you see these lines of storms catch up to the supercell, not always, but sometimes it'll decrease that hill size. It'll merge, and then it'll become part of the line, and that will tend to bring the hill sizes down. So that's kind of what we're hoping here. So you can kind of see in this radar loop that it is starting to catch up to it. Now it's probably in the next 10 minutes or so. Hopefully you'll see some of those purple splotches come down. So that's definitely something we want to watch. All right, so I'm going to stop this, and I am going to put a different layer on here. Let's look at the specific differential phase here. Okay, so this is a good, not a perfect one, but this is a good indicator of hail in these darker, or the blue, and then the purple really into the darker green and the lighter green. So this is a radar layer, if you will, that can really differentiate between precipitation types. Is one of the things I use. It's not foolproof, so it's not necessarily that everybody that's within that area is seeing big hail, but there's definitely a good possibility you might see some hail. So again, just to orient you, Denton's right there, Louisville's here, excuse me, and McKinney's right here. So if we put this in motion, again, right now, if you live north of US 380, that is where you would have the most concern at the moment, or anywhere along 380, I should say. So again, I kept the hail contour layer on there as well, so you can see where the hail's been, kind of going east, southeast. So you can see this general motion of these hail cores, and like with a lot of hail cores, they come and go. They'll pop up and then they'll disappear and they'll pop up in different spots. So it's not quite like a wind threat to where you see it more in a more generalized area. So that's one layer that we can look at to see about to see what our hail situation might be. So there's actually another layer, and so if we go to the hydrometer layer, and this is another good layer that we'd like to look at to see about hail. And so the yellow, in this case, is a hail core there, and the red is typically smaller type hail. And you see this darker red surrounding the yellow core there. So again, on this layer, you do see that, again, just to orient you, because it gets kind of lost along here. So this is US Highway 380. This is Denton. This is McKinney right here. And then if we put this layer in motion, you kind of get an idea of where this hail has been and going. So you see it, put that in motion, and you see the yellow kind of pops up in and out. That's typically what you would see some golf ball size hail, maybe a little bit larger. And so you can kind of see the general motion of the supercell is east, southeast. But like I said, supercells tend to want to make a right turn, so you definitely want to watch that. That's where, living here in Saxe or anywhere in the northern Dallas County area, southern Collin County, that's what we got to watch. Let me check the comments real quick. Lightning freaks out a lot of people, Angela. So there's going to be actually a lot of lightning, so I can't help you there. But once the storms pass, you should be okay. And Jessica, yes, no hail, please. Well, unfortunately, we've already had hail, but it's mostly been confined to areas north of 380. No disrespect to the people that live there, but it's definitely missed the Metroplex proper so far. All right, so let's stop this here. And let's go to velocity, because, there was a little chance that we could see some tornado spin-ups. And I think we had a couple of storms earlier that wanted to spin up a little bit, but it didn't really take, which is good. The atmosphere wasn't totally conducive for that. It was a little bit conducive, but not much. So that's what's really kept the tornado spin up down. Doesn't mean that it can't spin up again. But now we're looking more at obviously the hail threat and more of a damaging wind threat when this line gets its act together. So with that, let's go back and put the reflectivity on there, and let's scoot out here. All right, so this is, let's scoot out one more. Okay, so again, to orient you, Dallas, Fort Worth proper, Dallas and Tarrant counties. And let's put this in motion here, and as you can see, you are starting to see more of a line from west to east. So when this radar actually goes in motion, there you go. So again, you can see that supercell all by itself. That's what we don't like to see, but we did see that. And so now we're just getting to the point where that line is starting to, just had a radar update there, so we'll see what's going on. So you're just starting to see a point where the line is about to, if it's already started really, but the line's about to catch up to that supercell. So what we're hoping is we're hoping that once that merge is complete, if you will, then most of that the hail size will go down dramatically, and we won't know that here until just probably the next 15 or 20 minutes once we get an idea of what the storm interaction is going to be like. But that's definitely, to me, that's definitely a good sign. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit here, get a little bit closer view. Okay, so again, McKinney's right here, Denton's right here. So let's put this in motion because you're going to get an idea. So like I said, right now, if you live south of if you live north of US 380, you're already seeing the weather, of course. But if you live south of 380, which is probably the vast majority of us listening and watching, your time's going to come here pretty soon. Now, like I said, I'm not saying you're going to get a bunch of hail. It's just that the storms are going to be here in short order, and you can see the motion. So, like I said, with that storm, you're already hopefully starting to see with that merge that supercell will start to lose its supercellular characteristics. Excuse me, and that's like I said, that's good. Now, does that mean that it's all gonna be great? No, not necessarily. We're gonna start to see more of a wind threat with these, and then less of a hail threat. Which nobody wants wind damage either, but I'll take a wind threat over a hail threat any day of the week. But not, as long as it's not a tornado wind threat, of course. All right, so I do want to show you the latest watches and warnings that we have, and let me get my. Let's get the right page I want here. There we go. All right. Okay, so this is the latest watch we have. This is severe thunderstorm watch, not a tornado watch. A severe thunderstorm watch. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the main reason for a severe thunderstorm watch as opposed to a tornado watch is that again the tornado threat wasn't very great, not zero, but it wasn't very great. So now this is where we see typically this kind of situations where we see a severe thunderstorm watch issued, and I think the Storm Protection Center definitely got it right. That's for sure on that. So you can kind of see it. All of Dallas Fort Worth and areas to the southeast toward Corsicana and just north of Palestine is what the watch includes until 1 a.m. But again, I think as this line moves through, I think the watches will be discontinued once that line moves through. All right, so back to the radar. All right, so again, as we always use this radar, the yellow boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. Luckily, we don't see any red boxes. That would be tornado warnings. So just severe thunderstorm warnings. And I think this one was just updated. Let's see. Well, no, actually, let's see. That wasn't updated yet, but that was the one where we had Gulf Ball size hail earlier. Now, the warning that was issued for Wise and Denton County and Eastern Jack County, no update on that yet, although I think we're going to get one here pretty soon. As a matter of fact, I thought I saw an update come over on my phone. Let's see. Oh, okay, so it was just storm spotter reports. $50 size hail, that was in Newport and Jack County, so that's not DFW proper. And then we had we had a $50 hails southwest of Pilot Point. So that, and again, $50 hail is an inch and a quarter. So in case you're wondering what $50 size is. All right, so definitely getting some hail reports, which is kind of what we thought we would. But again, I'm thinking with the merger of the line of storms with the supercell, that will definitely help bring those hail sizes down. Angela, some big rotation in the storm east of Decatur. Thoughts? Well, we'll take a look at that. All right, so Decatur is right here for everybody's reference. So let's put the velocity layer on. And okay, did I read that right? Let's see, east Decatur. Yeah. Well, let's put that in motion. I don't really see anything too terribly, but maybe that was earlier. So we're going to put this, go back in time a little bit and see if there was anything. I don't see anything there now, so that's definitely good. But we're going to put this in motion and see if we had something before. Oh yeah, okay, I see that looks like that rotation disappeared pretty quick. Again, if I'm watching the same storm you were talking about. All right, so let's go to what I call the hail layer, and again, it's not a perfect science when it comes to this. Okay, so again, we have some potential hail in I can't read, just south of Aubrey, Krugerville. But let's look at the hydrometer layer, and let's see what that says on that one. Yeah, okay, so not as big. That's good. But again, where you see the red, that's where hail potential is. So if you're in Salina, you may be seeing some hail, hopefully smaller hail. But as we've been doing, if we put this in motion, again, you're going to see the yellow and the darker red, which means it had much greater hail sizes before, but that's tending to decrease based on this layer of the radar. All right, so let's go back to reflectivity. Okay, so again, what we're seeing is this line merging with the supercell, and that's, like I said, that's definitely good. And another reason you can kind of tell that there's that supercell is losing its characteristics, or the storm is losing its supercell characteristics, is you don't see a warning here. Now, that doesn't mean there's not going to be another warning issued there shortly, but it might be more for the line and wind damage as opposed to that previous supercell. So that's good. So that's the best sign you see so far. But we put that in motion. Let's see what the latest motion will tell us. And technology is wonderful until it really slows down. I was looking for there we go. Looking for the comments there. Um, like I said, you can see the supercell in that initial radar. And you can see it, like I said, that whole storm was rotating around. So that's very common for supercells. But now it looks like it's definitely getting absorbed into the main line, which, like I said, in the big scheme of things, is a good sign. Okay, so with that, what can we expect going forward? That's the big $1 million question, right? All right, so let me stop this. Okay, so as you can tell from the radar, the line is moving really southeast now. The biggest threat I think we'll see, it's about almost 8:45 now. So I think the biggest threat we'll see is definitely some hail threat. There's no doubt about that. But I think hail sizes are coming down. But I think the bigger threat from a severe weather standpoint will be the wind. Now, I'm not saying the wind's going to be 70, 80 miles an hour or anything like that, but it's definitely something that you'll probably notice as this line moves through your particular location. So with that, let's talk about that. So like I said, it's about 8:45 now. So, you're probably talking within the next 10 minutes anywhere along this line. So that'd be Farmersville, Allen, the Colony, Louisville, just north of Trophy Club. Thank you, Angela. And then on to the very northern or the very southern fringes of southwest Denton County, Justin area, things like that. So that's probably around 9 o'clock, I would say, that you would see the storms there. Now, probably anywhere along this line, which would be Sachse, Royce City, Garland, Richardson, Dallas, Farmers Branch, North Richland Hills as you get into Tarrant County, probably before around the 9:30 range. This line, as the momentum will tend to pick up, may pick up a speed a little bit, so maybe sooner than that. But I'm thinking you're probably looking at 9:30-ish for that second line you see on the screen there. So the good news is that a lot of the bigger hail is kind of winding down. So that's good. But it's not that it's impossible that you would see it. Leslie Williams, our hail protector, has already paid for itself. It's a really good investment. Great sale. Yeah, thank you, Leslie. I appreciate that. I would say actually the bigger benefit of Leslie doing that is that it prevents it from hailing at all, right? It's like washing your car if you need it to rain. So Leslie, we appreciate your contributions to breaking the hail size down. Okay, so let's put this in motion one more time here and get a better idea of what the line is looking like. And again, like I said, you're seeing that supercell absorbed, which is good. Probably still some hail in that what's left of that core, but you're seeing the line of storms move east, southeast, really more southeast. So let's take this off and stop this and zoom out a little bit more. And I think what you're going to see too is probably some extension of the line way out to the west, trying to backbill a little bit. So move this radar down. So I would say if you live anywhere from Weatherford east, obviously into the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, these storms will be here, certainly even down here by 10 o'clock or so, I would think. Don't jinx it. Well, I'm trying not to jinx it, but you've done a good job with that so far. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate your comments. Thunder vest ready to go. Yeah, you'll probably need that because there's a lot of lightning going on. Karen, much easier to see the cast. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the hashtag too. So just not a big deal. So what you're probably going to see too is you've seen a little bit of storm development right there outside the line. And I would bet if we put that in motion, it's probably going to be moving northeast. And if it does, then that will definitely be absorbed into. Okay, it's kind of moving parallel with the line, so we'll have to. Just have to watch that one. That's for sure. Misty, how am I looking down my way? All right, so I knew you would come calling, Misty. So let's zoom out here and see what And again, I love Misty. High school, went to high school together, and she does not live in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, so we always like to make sure she's taken care of too. So when you put this in motion, Misty and everybody watching, of course, you kind of get an idea of what you're going to see. So you're going to see this line move east, southeast. Now, Misty's down east of Corsicana ways, so it may not make it all the way down there to you, Misty. But I would say if it does make it all the way down to you, I don't really think you'll have a tornado threat. Excuse me. Much like we did earlier, although I think there's only one tornado warning issue, and that was up near Wichita Falls, I think. So, Misty, I think you're going to be okay. I know you have taken the proper precautions like you always do, so you may need to just think about that. But I think you're going to miss some worst of it. But I'll try to watch it for you. Let's see. Thank you, Karen, for the new hashtag. I like that. Let's see. Angela and my menfolk are currently driving home from SCU. Yeah, did they have a basketball game tonight? I think they did. Are they going to get soaked? They're going to get soaked, aren't they? Yes, they are. Now, I don't know if they deserve to get soaked. That's only you can make that call. Well, I say that. It just depends. So they're, oops, come on, let's get to, so they're here, or hopefully they're still not there, or hopefully they're leaving. And I know they're going this general direction. Yeah, I would imagine before they make it home, they'll get soaked. That's for sure. Oh, the Cadre band rehearsal. Okay, had rehearsal. Okay, I know college basketball season starting. You're welcome, Misty. I tried. That's all I can say. Okay, so now the radar just updated. Yeah, so let's put this in motion here because I want to kind of take a peek at that storm that's popped up over Eagle Mountain Lake. Because we had a similar type storm. I say storm, it wasn't even any lightning with it. That was east of McKinney before all this kind of got going. That nothing really came of that one. Because believe it or not, we still have a cap over us, and obviously this line of storms is about to obliterate that. So, but before that, you do see these kind of, for lack of a better way to say it, these storms that can pop through the cap a little bit. But then a lot of times, though, if they're not at the updraft of that storm, it's not strong enough to really penetrate the cap, and that's why you see it basically go down. Yeah, Leslie, I don't know that I would say it's an anvil storm, but it's probably just a updraft that's penetrating that cap a little bit. But yes, you definitely can have those type storms. But I don't know if that's this case. All right, so just looking. Yeah, I mean it's kind of behaving itself so far. But that storm, let's see. Yeah, what's going to happen is even if this storm were to get going, whoops, you're seeing something like this, and of course this line is going to swallow it up, as we like to say. So another observation I would say, let's see, Karen, how late will some of us be up? Well, the good news, Karen, is I don't think we're going to be up that late. That's the good news. So again, if you, at least I put it this way, I'm not. And if I'm not, then y'all probably won't have to worry about it. So to kind of illustrate that point for Karen, again, put the radar in motion, you can see the line. It's moving at a pretty good clip, relatively speaking. Now, once it starts storming, if you will, then, it's not just going to be a 5-minute thing and be over, that's for sure. But I would hope that for especially the areas in the Metroplex that are north of Interstate 30 and 20, when you go further west, I would hope that by 11 p.m. that most of our activity will be done with. Because, again, this is not a situation where you're going to see a lot of development behind the line. You really won't see any because of the cold front and the drier air. So yeah, I don't think we'll be up very long in the big scheme of things, Karen. At least that's my hope. All right, so let me see, because we still have the severe the previous severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, and that radar. surely they would have updated those severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's see. Okay, when was that? Save warning. Okay, so there are some more wind reports coming in from these storms, so that's not surprising. We had talked about that before. I think the main threat's going to transition from a wind, a hail threat to a wind threat, but they're both still in play. Yeah, Misty, I hope you're not either, because unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit longer to get your way, and sadly, I would say that it's going to be more after midnight for you. That's for sure. Okay, so let's go look at these different layers again. Velocity. Now, for those of y'all who we tend to always think of when we put on the velocity layer that it's, hey, we're looking for the tight rotation and all that. And we are most of the time when we see that, but it's not always for that. I've talked about this before. We are looking at straight line winds. You can tell it by the brighter colors. Zoom out here a little bit. And we might have some of that out in the western part of that. Let's put the reflectivity back on there. Well, before I do that, let me highlight that. So I'm talking about this area right here. And let's see. Yeah, that's a pretty intense part of the storm. Now, on the reflectivity, we're still seeing this purple area here. But again, that's reflectivity. Obviously, that could be very, very heavy rain. It's not always hail, but a lot of times it is. Let's look at this. Okay, now that's this differential between liquid types. Again, sometimes I get a hail indicator, sometimes not. But if we look at the hydrometer, which typically is a much more accurate classification of hail. Okay, so we do see this red, and if you go to the key, it's a hail rain mix, but typically, it's more hail than rain, but not anything big. Misty may will calm down by then. Yeah, let's hope so. And Karen, if you ever want to borrow Jimi Hendrix, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, these headphones, I actually need to get new headphones because I got a little break right there. So I got these at the beginning of the pandemic, and yes, I've used them a lot, not just for weather, but they're getting worn out. So I definitely need to invest in some new ones or borrow some. So let's put this hydrometer layer in motion because, again, you can see the hail history. You see the yellow. That's bad. We haven't seen a whole lot of that. But yeah, so the hail, it's hanging around there. So if I don't know if anybody's watching or listening from Prosper, but if you are, you're probably seeing some hail up there. And I would say let's put this back in motion here. But like I said, the good news is, now that, of course, I say that, and the Weather Service will issue a warning, is that we haven't seen any extensions yet of the warnings in this area. Now, we probably will, but hopefully not. That's actually a good sign if we don't. All right, so let's go to the velocity. Yeah, nothing too alarming there. And yeah, so I this is probably something. This is Melissa, northeast of McKinney. So if you remember that, and if you go back to velocity, you can kind of see this line here, this little differentiation there. Say that twice and say that fast. Maybe some wind gust in that one. And of course, obviously, you can see. Well, I say obviously, but maybe not. You can see the leading edge of this wind shift with these storms along here. And if we put that back on the radar, then there you go. And then if you take that off, so you can see, and I always like to talk about this. So this is the gust front that is out ahead of this line. Now, if you remember, a little meteorology 101 here, what was left of that supercell is in this area, so you don't really see any outflow here. That's not very uncommon because, again, the structure of the supercell doesn't really provide for that, at least in that phase of the storm. And throat getting dry. I got to keep that voice going. Let's see. Okay, so I think the Weather Service is just about to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for, yeah, Collin, Dallas, Denton, Hunt. Right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, it's for the line. And you can probably hear that going off. Small Hill and Frisco, Karen Zibelman, thank you. Let's listen to this real quick. Yeah, so yes, definitely a severe thunderstorm warning for this line of storms. It's not. I'm not surprised. I'm actually a little surprised that it took them long to issue that. So Wesley, so what you really mean to say is water breaker run? Yeah, I already did that. So, so you do that before the storms come, and not during the storm. Yes, I already took care of that. Yes, they are starting to hear some thunder and got some small hail in Frisco. Thank you for that report, Karen Zippelman. I hope I'm saying that right. And so thank you for that. But I'd like to hear small hail. I like that. And that's actually because that's what's so great about. That's why I like to do these sometimes is because if you're watching and you're having storms in your area, if you want to report something like that, that's great because it helps solidify maybe what the radar is saying. In that spirit, let's go put the hydrometer layer back on and look at. Yeah, that would kind of make sense because again, not everything in that red is hail. It's just that there's a good possibility that there's hail in that. So that based on that report, thank you, Karen. That would make sense. So that's what we like to see. We like to get confirmation of what the radar is telling us because the radar is not perfect, as we all know. So yeah, okay. So there is the box that they just talked about, and I don't know how well you could hear what in the background, how well you can hear that. But so the main threat with this is 65-mile-an-hour winds, nothing to sneeze at, and penny-sized hail. So remember, it wasn't that long ago that we were seeing reports of golf ball size hail, half dollar size hail, which is inch and a quarter in diameter. So that's, like I said, that's good news. Like I thought, once that line merged with that supercell just became part of the line, and the hail size really went down. Now, the thing we do have to watch out for, like while these lines tend to bring the hail sizes down, they can still spin up stuff. We got to watch for notches, and notches can be just misleading when you first see them. But these notches and these apexes of these squall lines is what we really have to watch out for. The really gusty winds. So we don't see anything really pronounced, but as far as apexes, but maybe one right there. Whoops. And then this is it's kind of early, but that might be a notch. But then again, the next radar scan, it might not be. So with that in mind, let's go look at the velocity. All right, so let's go back to. Okay, so that was just east of Argyle. So let's go back there. Yeah, nothing there. It's really to be. That's what I thought. Well, nothing really to worry about there. And so, like I said, if you're just joining us, it's one of those things that we're not really talking about a tornado threat here. Probably about an hour ago, we were talking about a hail threat with that supercell, but which is now merged with that line, so that's kind of calmed down quite a bit. So now I think, like I said, I think the biggest threat we're going to have is wind gusts. For some of us, we might be looking at 50 miles an hour. Hopefully not. The severe thunderstorm warning is for the potential for 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And that's the thing, because as I always like to say, that just because you see that, and if you're within that warning box area, which of course, as you can see on the radar, it's a many counties, but again, they're trying to incorporate or account, I should say, for the line of storms that is coming through. And you can't, unfortunately, technology is not where you can pinpoint it to where it's here. You got to do the broad brush, if you will. So like I said, so if you're in Plano, the southern part of Allen, Wiley, Saxe, of course, Garland, Richardson. Then if you swing over to close to the airport, Coppell, Trophy Club. I think Angela already told me she wasn't happy, or one of her animals wasn't happy, I think. Like I said, so you're going to see the weather deteriorate very quickly. Karen, will you be covering for Roker? Yeah, that'd be nice. So they can just pay me what they pay him. That would be great. But it's something that, like I said, there's nothing to be terribly alarmed about. It's just that it's going to be stormy, and if you happen to have something that's loose, hopefully you've already taken care of that. But if you haven't, and again you live in the far reaches of southern Collin County, northern Dallas County, you still have about 5 or 10 minutes to do that if you haven't done that already. Yes, Angela? What have I told you about saying Trophy Club? Yeah, no, I just can't help it. Sorry about that. I just love Trophy Club so much. I definitely need to go back and visit. It's been a while since I've been to Trophy Club. So yeah, you probably should close those windows. So all right, so let's. And like I said, if you're just joining us, like I said, severe thunderstorm warning for pretty much everybody that's probably watching this. Not you, Misty, of course. I already forgot the time. The time until 10 o'clock. So I don't think that it's going to be something that for most of us, certainly in the Saxe area, is going to be hanging around a long time. Certainly not till 10. Sorry, I'm just checking it. What's funny is because typically when the severe thunderstorm warnings come out, um, I'll do the verbal or the text update, and because I know not everybody that follows me is watching this, shame on them. So if you'll give me just a second, let me do that, because they may be thinking, hey man, where's he at? So let me. If you always wondered how I do it, you can see me do it in real time. Here we go. So we got to find graphic, of course. So we'll do that. We're all visual, right? Tornado in Frisco, Leslie. I don't see anything, but let's look at velocity. No, I mean I think we're okay. I mean there's a little bit of rotation, but nothing to be concerned about, I don't think. But definitely we'll watch it. All right. So what I'm going to do is going to go to Facebook. I'm going to do a quick update since I'm on the air, so give me just a second here and I will do that. Talk among yourself. Okay, so and I'll mute this for just a second. You don't hear me breathing. Okay, I'm back. Okay, sorry about that, but I just wanted to update people that weren't watching live because I don't want them to think I had forgotten about them. And so in my post, I did say, hey, if we are doing live, so if you want to come on and join us, we can definitely do that. Okay, so well, Karen, I hope hope your uh, hope your elevator music was good. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by all my texts. Let's see. Yeah, I did get your text, Leslie. I don't see. I don't see. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, they had the TVS, which is tornado vortex signature. But from what I could tell, that any of that rotation was aloft. Um, so I don't think they have anything to worry about. It's not. Well, most likely it's not getting to the ground. So, but great catch though on that. Okay, so yes, and Angela, you also said the same thing there. Saw your comment there. Hello, Don. Thanks for joining us. And if any of you joined when it was silent, then again, my apologies. I was updating all our Facebook folks that aren't watching live. So, and yes, Karen, it is nice to reply to better than answering voices in one head. Boy, ain't that the truth. Okay, so in summary, this is what we have going on. So we have a line of thunderstorms, which we kind of thought was going to be the case. We had a supercell previously that had a lot of large hail in it that has thankfully merged. The line caught up to it, I should say. That supercell probably didn't want to merge, but has caught up to that supercell and really brought down the hail sizes. So that's good. So now we're looking at a smaller hail threat and a wind threat. So that is definitely something that we're definitely going to watch the next 30 minutes to an hour. The severe thunderstorm warning that the Weather Service has issued is until 10 p.m. And so I would say if you're, like I said, if you're anywhere north of Interstate 30, then you will be, between now and 10 o'clock, you'll definitely see these line of storms. So let's put this in motion here and see what the latest couple of radar frames will tell us, because they can tell you things if you know what to look for. All right, so as soon as it loads up all the frames, we will see what we got. Okay, so again, the supercell that was all by itself merged, thankfully, so that's all gone. But the line, of course, is still headed our way, and so that's something for sure. So again, what we're going to see is two distinct things with this line that other than the duh stuff, and that is other than the rain and lightning and thunder. Hello, Christy. I just saw you. Thanks for joining us. Other than the typical stuff you'll see, some of us will see hail. It'll be most likely the smaller variety. Most of us will see some type of wind gusts. The greatest threat speed is 65 miles an hour. I think the vast majority of us will not see that. I would hope that the vast majority of us see anything less than 40. So looking at my weather station, of course, obviously it hasn't gotten here yet, but the winds are fairly innocuous out of the south, about 10 miles an hour, but that will change here in the short order, that is for sure. Karen, how's it looking? Is it Castamere? You'll have to clue me in on that, because I don't know what you mean. Sorry. So, but if you're anywhere close to Saxony, then it is looking more and more like we're going to get some storms, but hopefully nothing. Oh, thunder, lightning. So I get these messages, and so I hate to not respond. So let's see. Yes, I'm just going to say I'm doing live. See, sometimes with these storms, you have to juggle a lot of things. Game of Thrones. Okay, thank you, Karen. I was like, man, I know I'm missing something. I just didn't know what it was. Okay, well, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that. Okay, all right. So let's stop this radar here. And again, for reference, that's beautiful, sexy. And so we are not too far away from showtime. Good, bad, or ugly. That's the way it's going to be. So let's look at some other layers and see what we got. So this is velocity, and this is for lack of a better way to say it, this shows wind, and so you can see this gust front doing something like this. So I would imagine basically if you're west of 75, north of 635, you're certainly north of 635 in the western part of the county. You're definitely starting to see the weather move in. So let's look at the hydrometer layer, which again is probably the best layer for hail depiction. And again, when you see red, it is technically a hail signature, but it doesn't mean that it's very big necessarily. But as we put this in motion, and by the way, if you're under the red, it doesn't guarantee that it's hailing beneath you. It's just that it's certainly at least a few thousand feet off the ground. It might be. Doesn't mean it's going to reach the surface. So what you're seeing is you see this hail kind of forming along this line on the northern part of the line of storms. And we will stop this. And so that's that. So nothing terribly concerning. You do see some hail signatures over here north of the word I can't say, but the one person knows what I'm talking about. Again, not that it's going to hail guaranteed, but just something you want to watch out for, because on the reflectivity layer we do see some purple. Now, like I said, purple doesn't always mean hail, but it definitely could. So that's something to keep in mind. And I would just say this, just as a clarification going forward, if for some reason the stream stops all of a sudden, then you'll probably know why. That we probably don't have any power. So just FYI. Okay, so Karen, am I wrong in assuming I don't see an insane amount of light? No, you're not wrong. So that's actually, you bring up an interesting point, because if you look at the radar, this radar presentation, this program radar scope, which I think is very, very good. So the lightning strikes you see here, most of them are cloud to cloud, but some of them are, excuse me, I'm sorry, I had it backwards. Most of them are cloud to ground. That's why you don't see a ton of them, thankfully. Now with other radar applications, you'll just see nothing but lightning strikes, and it'll be like, it'll almost be white because you see so much. Those are including everything, cloud to cloud, cloud to ground. So that's why you see more. So that's why I like this lightning representation, because it kind of gives you a better idea about, okay, nobody wants cloud to ground, but I definitely want to know where they're at. And oh, thank you, Karen, for the band. So yes, for those of y'all who follow me, other than just the weather, the Saxy Mustang band did qualify for the state UIL marching band championships in San Antonio. They did not make the finals, but that's okay, because there are 38 bands in the state that are that qualify out of 250 6A bands basically across the state, and so they did a very good job. I'm very proud of them. So yes, I was in San Antonio the last couple of days, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish tonight would be more of a chill night, but that's okay. The weather calls. Okay, Karen, thank you for that report. See, I love the field reports. So no construction tomorrow. Well, I'm sorry about that part of it. Yes, band does rock. So for those, and if Christy is still on, she knows this too. I was in marching band at high school. For those of you who don't know, I went to Garland High School, and the lovely Mrs. Bickerstaff went to Lakeview. She was also in marching band. And yes, band's in my blood. And, when I was at Garland, state just wasn't, we just weren't good enough to ever qualify for state, but Saxy's done a great job, and they work hard. They work their butts off, and I know that it's some people can get that, some people can't, and I totally get it. But they work really hard. Yeah, Karen, I know you said that earlier or on the comments a couple days ago. So tell me what you played again, because I forgot. You told me this, but I forgot. So tell me what you played again. But it's a lot of hard work, and so that it's only the second GISD school in the history of GISD to make state competition, and band Rowlett had made it back in 2010. I think was our last time they made it. And so yeah, it's a great accomplishment. So okay, I thought it was flute. I wasn't going to say flute. Wow, flute and tuba. That's quite the contrast on the chromatic scale. Learning to play guitar. Oh, okay, cool. That's really cool. I would say too, and those of y'all who tuned in for a weather discussion, sorry, just a slight diversion, but playing a musical instrument takes a lot of work and probably some inherent talent, and it's something that it's if you could play a musical instrument, especially if you can play it good, then that takes a lot of talent. It takes a lot of hard work too. Okay, so back to the weather. Sorry about that for all you non-band people. Maybe you didn't come on to hear about that, so I apologize. So again, you can see the radar presentation. So like I said, I'm sure the people watching in Plano and the middle part of Collin County probably seeing the storms. And let's see. Okay, so I think I could pull this up. So the gust front just came through here. So I just had a gust of 28. So let me pull up my weather station so you can see this. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. Now it's a little delayed, but as far as the data that comes in. But you know what? So this is great timing. So my website updates typically every 3 to 5 seconds, but every 5-minute iteration, it has to load all the data from the previous 5 minutes. So there's like a minute delay. So so you'll see that in just a second. But if I look at my real time stats on my other computer. Okay, so we had a gust of 33 miles an hour. So Stephanie, think Transformer blew over. Oh no, I hate to hear that. Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay, well, I'm not shocked though, because the wind's gonna be kind of strong, at least for a little bit. The one time in band camp, yes, Karen. I'll leave that one alone. Okay, so duh, I don't even this faded over. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, there you go. I was sitting there talking about my weather stats, but I didn't fade it over. Okay, so like I said, right now the winds at my house is out of the south at 21, and then as far as if you scroll down a little bit, it might be hard for you to see, but the maximum gust so far tonight is 33 miles an hour. That was at 9:21. And if you care, the strongest gust we had all year was 45, and that was back on July 11th. And that's a good old-fashioned summer storms that can really produce the wind. So, let's see. So we're averaging about 25 miles an hour. So that's good. All right, so let's go back to the radar here. All right, so let's put this in motion and see what we got as soon as it loads all the screens. It was a great conversation with everybody, by the way. I appreciate that. I know it's a little bit delayed from when I see your comment. So if you're wondering, that's why it takes a little bit of time for me to see your comment, and probably for you to hear my comment too. So as you can see, the storms the good news is about the storms is that they're moving fairly quickly, and so they won't last very long. And as Karen was talking about earlier, or asking about earlier, we won't be up all night. Thank goodness. Because if you heard my earlier band discussion, I'm tired. We had a long weekend. Very fulfilling weekend, that's for sure. Okay, so still haven't got above 33, so that's good. Okay, so the bottom line is that so we are having these line of storms moving in. They won't last very long. So I think the worst case scenario you would have, and this is the worst case scenario, is you would have maybe some penny-sized hail. Hopefully nothing even at all. Definitely some wind gusts. Like I said, at my house, we've had a wind gust to 33 miles an hour. Hopefully that'll be the highest we get. But, these storms are capable of producing wind gusts, potentially up to 65 miles an hour. And so with that, let's stop this and let's put the velocity back on. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything terribly concerning, so that's good. Let's put the hydrometers back on real quick. Yeah, and for those of y'all who are just joining us, the red could be hail. It just depends, but it's that's definitely still a possibility. G&J had to pull over in South Lake. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I bet you told him so. Wind gusts picking up in Old Town, Karen. Yeah, clanging around a bit. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Let's hope that that's all they do. They don't go anywhere, if you know what I mean. Let's see. Yeah, um, still no higher than 33 at my house. That's good. Although I know the worst is probably still yet to come, if you will. All right, so let's go back to the regular radar here. Yeah, the older trees. Yeah, I don't like to hear that because I don't want them to go anywhere. Plus, older trees tend to be bigger, so it takes more of a wind gust to move them, which is I don't like to hear that either. But hopefully they've been around a long time, so they've seen a lot. So hopefully they're just laughing at this wind. Oh yeah, we've seen a lot worse. So a lot of swing. Okay, well you are north of me, so I would say whatever you have is coming my way, which I don't like. I don't like swaying, not with trees, not on a boat or anything like that. Now we're in a relative lull here at my house at the moment, but I think that's probably going to change because the worst is not here yet for my house. Let's do this. Let's zoom in a little bit. And let's just kind of we'll scoot this over for people that are in the western part of the area, if you will. All right, so we're going to put this in motion, and while it does that, and once it loads, and again, if I suddenly leave, then you'll know why, because that means I don't have any power. Okay, definitely picking up wind gust at my house. Let's see. And got, I know you can't see it, but looking at my weather station in real time, just had a gust of 22. Like I said, I had a gust of 33 about 10 minutes ago. I'm sorry, about 5 minutes ago. But nothing too bad yet. But I'm holding my breath because Karen is not. She's not making me feel any better. Let's see. Oh, Beverly, yes, don't go. Don't go on your porch. I think Beverly's in Wiley. I think in the southern part of Wiley. I think, but she can probably tell you. Okay, so we'll stop this radar here. Okay, so I want to stop this. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't look great. Obviously, a lot of red and a lot of purple and all that. But the wind, as you can tell, and Karen, thank you so much because this is great. These real time reports are what we need because again the radar does a lot of things good. It's just that they don't tell us everything, and it's just some of it's just a radar estimation. So it's good to get these reports on the ground. Although Karen, I hope it starts to calm down for you. Let's see. All right. So in my house, okay, the rain started to pick up, and again, knock on wood, the wind's behaving itself. So let me switch over to my weather station for y'all. Let me refresh this real quick. Oh, you're welcome, Mallory. I like I said, it's one of the things that I like to do. I know the weather concerns a lot of people, as it should, but I just want to keep everybody educated and informed. And like I said, we're not dealing with a tornado threat or anything. Although, doesn't really matter if the wind is strong enough. It doesn't matter whether it's a tornado or not. It can still cause some damage. So we definitely don't want that. So let's see, is it? Yeah, okay, yeah. So again, we haven't seen a gust here over 33 miles an hour, but again, that could change. So definitely gusty wind, that's for sure. All right, so we'll go back to the radar, and let's see. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, but that's yeah, I don't like the sound of that, but yeah, pre-hurricane winds. Well, that's hopefully that's all it is, and we don't go to the next phase because hurricane winds are 74 miles an hour or greater, and we definitely don't want to see that. Which I haven't seen any reports of that, by the way, so I don't think that's going to be something to be terribly concerned about. But all right, so I'm checking some of my storm spotter reports just to see. Okay, I haven't seen anything horrible. That's good. Let's see. Okay, so still nothing too terrible at my house, and that's the other thing too, because as Karen mentioned in her comments, she lives in Old Town Saxony, which is the center part of Saxony, and we just like hail cores, these little wind pockets can, really be isolated too. I mean, in other words, you could have a really windy uh, micro area of town that sees a lot of wind, and then you have someone that's less than half a mile away. It's just kind of like, what's the big deal? So that's why it's just all depends on where you're at. And but yeah, stay. Hopefully, it's going to calm down for you, Karen. Hopefully, looking at the radar. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some. As a matter of fact, let's put the velocity on here one more time and see if we can't pick up what Karen's looking at. Yeah, okay, so I know this is probably not a comfort to someone that's going through a gusty windstorm, but you can see that little wider cluster there, little pocket of winds here west of Wiley and the Murphy area. You see some north of Rockwell. Now they're real subtle. They're nothing that's gonna really stand out when you look at a map, but it's something that it does happen. And they're, like I said, they're isolated and they're not over a big swath area, so that's actually good. All right, so let's zoom out here one more time. Okay, so this is not your classic line. Let's go back to before I say that, let's go back to the hydrometer layer one more time. Yeah, so I think if you okay, the weather service just updated this. Let's see what they say. Let's see. Okay, well the wind gusts have gone down from 65 to 60. The hail size is still the same. So not a lot of storm reports, so that's good. Although sometimes they are delayed. So that's good. But again, from the hydrometer, that's a little bit of hail. Okay, Karen. Now that you said that, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so again, for those of y'all who are just joining us, the red tends to indicate, rain hail mix. And so, and again, this is, it's obviously is as accurate as it could be. So if we put this in motion, yeah, thank you for that report, Karen. Hopefully, if you can, what size would you estimate that to be? I'm just curious. So you can kind of see, the way it was coming now was that the hail was going to stay northeast of us, being Saxby. But you kind of see this hail getting a little bit, kind of ramping back up a little bit, which again is not anything totally surprising, but nothing to be terribly concerned about, thankfully. And so let's go back to the reflectivity. Well, so again, purple doesn't automatic. This on the reflectivity layer, not even piece out. Okay, good. Thank you, Karen. That's kind of what I thought. So on the reflectivity scale, the purple. I mean, most of the time it does mean hail, but it doesn't always. It just means really, really intense rain a lot of times, where it's just the radar beam is just bouncing off something more solid. Hard to. Yeah, I know it's hard to get much when it's at night, Karen. That's for sure. Well, okay. So at my house, we just topped the 33-mile-an-hour gust with 34, so I beat it by one, and that's fine with me. I don't want to beat that one. But you could tell though in this radar image, the probably the more intense rain and probably maybe a little bit bigger hail is coming along. I know it's hard to see with all this, but that would be coming down the 78 corridor toward downtown Garland, maybe west of that. But again, with this latest scan, you see a little bit of purple there, and that's probably the little bit of hail that Karen saw. I don't hear anything at my house, so hopefully it'll stay that way. Let's see. Let's go back to the hydrometer layer. Okay, just checking my wind gust. Here we go. Yeah, so that kind of makes sense because so again, the red being a rain hail mix, if you will, and so that's not surprised to hear some smaller hail reports in and around town because I think you're seeing the hydrometer layer talk about that. So not just don't know if I hear hail outside my house or not. Hold on a second, I'll tell you. Yeah, so a little hail here. Do you need to borrow my hearing aids? Boy, I don't know, Beverly. Yeah, Mallory, it's hailing. Yeah, it's hailing at my house too. Now at my house, it's kind of matches what Karen was talking about. It's not even pea size here. Now, Mallory, if you see something different, let me know. Or certainly bigger. Okay, so we had a wind gust to almost 35 miles an hour just a second ago at my house. So we're going through the core of the storm. Yeah, I thought about that too, Mallory, because our lights are up too. But like I said, as a matter of fact, I think it already stopped. I'm just trying to. It's hard to see, of course, at night. Yeah, hopefully. Let's see. Okay, Karen got the PM to video, still hearing it. Roughly. Okay, yeah, no, I get you. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Oh yeah, yeah, it's definitely stormy looking. Okay, well that's. Sorry, let me respond to this one. Okay. Yeah. That's actually that's what it looks like at my house now. Okay. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Hail, Tim. If you can tell me what size hail it is, just out of curiosity, if you can tell. I just want to make sure I'm categorizing things correctly. Let's see what I miss. Oh, I could. You probably can, Mallory. That's okay. Yes, this is weather central for where I'm at. So if you see me, and then yes, I will definitely take the hail over tornado. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I just saw that. Hold on, Mallory. It is hailing, but it's not that big. Hopefully, it will stay that way. Hold on. Let me check my hail size. Hold on. Okay, so I just did my own observation, and yeah, it's barely pea size over here at the estates of Pleasant Valley, though. So uh, hopefully it will not last. Well, it shouldn't last too long. But again, you see, and this is what's always. Okay, thanks, Karen. I appreciate that. Angela, yeah, you guys enjoy your end of the storm. Thanks. Tim, size of BBs. Yeah, that's about what that's about what it is at my house. All right, so yeah, you can kind of see that little hail corridor, if you will. Um, yeah, this is kind of what we expected. Unfortunately, but it's not the end of the world. And as Karen had mentioned, it's not 2016 by any means, so don't worry about that. All right, so I'm gonna put the radar reflectivity back in motion, and so you can kind of see the evolution of how we got here. And as you can see, even from the reflectivity screen, the purple has definitely increased as soon as this loads up. Uh, it just works great when I'm not doing live stuff. So no purple, and then purple. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes, I think. But like I said, it's nothing really to be terribly concerned about. The good news is, okay, Danielle, is this likely to be the worst of it tonight? Yes, this is likely to be the worst of it. Debbie, you're welcome. During severe weather, I definitely want to get online and hopefully give everybody comfort, and then also too keep you informed on if you need to take shelter, which that's not the case tonight. Okay, so still 35 mile an hour is the highest wind gusts we've had here, and just in the last 10 minutes, I've gotten half an inch of rain. So that tells you how hard it's raining. All right, so we're about to hopefully get out of the worst of it. We will have, as you probably just heard from most of us, lightning strikes will still be a threat for at least a few more minutes, maybe 15. So let's zoom back out here. All right, so let's put this in motion here. So those of y'all who are just joining us, about an hour and a half ago, as you saw from this radar loop, that we had a supercell thunderstorm that caused some bigger size hail, and you can see those hail contours there at the top of the radar that were just very concerning. But that squall line caught up to the supercell, merged with it, and kind of took care of that big old hail, the golf ball size hail that they were reporting. So that's the good news. And so we're kind of seeing the end result as we're seeing this squall line move through. And while it's not the greatest, there's a little bit of hail. But the hail this time of year, not always, but the hail this time of year tends to be a little softer. So this pea-size hail that most of us saw, or maybe even less than pea-size, won't really do any damage. And quite frankly, even if it was the harder type hail that we have during the spring months, that size is not going to do a lot of damage. So nothing really to be concerned about. If you have your Christmas lights already up, I don't think you have anything. Ooh, that was close. I don't think you have it. That's a great thing about live internet. If you have your Christmas lights up, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Okay, good news, Karen. Thank you. I can hear it but not see it. Okay, good. That's good. Yeah, Amy, that was close. Amy's my neighbor. And so and she's probably very tired, like I am, from the band trip. Yeah, and Amy, we had a great band conversation earlier in the what? Oh, so apparently my car alarm, my truck's going off. So hold on. Lightning strikes are fun because it makes your car alarm go off. My son is checking for me. I should add more sound effects. Yeah, well, I just don't like those because I can't control those. But yes, that was definitely close, but hopefully we won't have any more of that. All right. And hopefully you like my jerking too, because there's lightning around, but you just never know when the one's going to be that close. All right. So as you can tell from the radar, this is what we're dealing with. So let's see. Let me check. All right. So I haven't had a wind gust I had one 30. Well, it's 34.5 miles an hour. My technical geek. So not, I guess you can round to 35. The wind speeds now are the 15 mile an hour range. Hopefully the vast majority of the gusting winds are done. And as you can tell from behind the line, the line's fixing to pass through us, and we're going to be done for the night, thankfully. And the good news is, I don't think any of us were. Well, I hope nobody's had any lightning strikes, that's for sure. We got some rain out of it. Got almost 0.8 of an inch. So that's good. A little bit of hail, but nothing big. Oh, you're welcome, Nancy. Like I said, I try to go live when I'm able to here at my Weather Central studio in my house. And can't always do that because it depends on where I'm at. But if this had been yesterday, it might have been a different story because I was traveling back from the band competition in San Antonio. But luckily it wasn't. So let's see, Karen, if I could put on my singing helmet, I would do. Have a sturdy pair of shoes, boots, and you're safe. Yes. This is true. Karen brings up a good point. So probably a good way to end it tonight because, like I said, I think the worst is over now. Look, you're definitely hearing the lightning strikes, so that's definitely something we're going to have to watch out for the next 10 or 15 minutes. But after that, we'll be done. But the worst of it, the hail and the high winds, I think we're past that. But I will say this: Karen does a good PSA there because always have an emergency kit of some kind for situations like this. And it can be something really simple. If you don't know what to get, FEMA.gov has a good checklist. And because, luckily it wasn't that bad this time, but we could have, hopefully not, but we could have hail them again sometime in the future as we had back in 2016. You'll definitely want something then, especially if you have holes in your roof, if you have windows knocked out. It's just something to have a good thing to have when you don't know when help might arrive. And so that's a good piece of information and piece of advice, Karen. I appreciate you saying that. Okay, so in summary, before I sign off, and before I forget, thank you so much to everybody that gave me real-time reports. That is awesome. That's why hopefully in the future when we have situations like this, I'll be able to be live more often. And because, like I said, the hail reports are well, not just hail reports, but any kind of weather report is great because that hey, is the radar really really accurate? What's it really going on in your neighborhood? And that's what I like to hear because it gives me an idea of what to expect and how to tell people going forward what they can expect if they're downstream from the storms. So with that, let's zoom out one more time. And we're going to, you can kind of tell how this storm system, I should say, has evolved. And so, like I said, good old-fashioned squall line. Yeah, Karen, okay, I thought I read that. You were a medic. Charge up non-plug and battery charges, flat, yeah. And Karen, I believe you served in the military, and so if you could confirm that, I would appreciate that. And happy Veterans Day to you a little bit early. And thank you for your service. It really appreciated. Quite frankly, we wouldn't be sitting here talking if it wasn't for your service. So people like yourself. So I appreciate you very much for that. I really do. Okay, so with that, and I'll give Karen a chance to respond to real quick. I know there's a delay, but while I'm waiting on that, so if you are downstream of this, and Misty, that goes for you if you're still watching, I think what you can expect, like we expected, is maybe some small hail, gusty winds, frequent lightning, downpours, things like that. And, that's something that you can expect, headed your way in a couple hours. Let's see. So the rest of the week will be nice and it will be pleasant. And so, and we got some good rain out of this. And, that's a good thing because we can always use rain. Let's see. Meg, what's the wind speed going to be in the morning? For outdoor veterans activities. Okay. That's a great question. So it'll be a little gusty. I don't think it's going to be anything terribly concerning. So I think you'll be able to do your outdoor events. The weather will definitely be nice, that's for sure. So I think you're good there, Meg. Thank you for checking in. Thank you, Angela. Yes, I look forward to chilling a little bit. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. And okay, yeah, Amy, Army Medic 8992. That's awesome. Yes, and again, happy Veterans Day to you early. And I appreciate everything you and everybody else that served in the military has done for us. Because, like I said, we wouldn't be sitting here talking or being able to be talking, if y'all had not done it. So I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to sign off because the worst is over, and I appreciate everyone coming on. And hopefully in the future we'll be able to do more chats. I wish it was a little bit more real time, but that's technology. That's okay. It's close enough. And with that, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great evening, what's left of it, and have a great rest of your week. And, the next storm system we see, maybe not this intense, but the next storm system we see will probably be a week from now. So I may be seeing you then. But you'll see me online way before that, so I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate you, and we will talk to you soon.